Charlotte, darling, we have something to talk about. You're releasing 6 new fragrances, and I have no idea what this is. Are these the fragrances of the Power Rangers? Because I'm really unsure of what you're trying to do here. So Charlotte Tilbury, our friend, your friend, is she anyone's friend? Does anyone know her personally? We'll have some words for her, because she's releasing 6 fragrances, and they have the ugliest packaging I've ever seen. They're all in these different colors, and they have pointy lids, and I just think in this day and age, maybe we should avoid pointy-topped things. Kind of just like takes you to a place, and it's not a great place. And that's just what I'm thinking about when I see them, and I don't know what that says about me. Love frequency, more sex, joyphoria, magic energy, calm bliss, cosmic power. I'm under the understanding that we are supposed to feel those things whenever we smell these fragrances. They used to make these drinks. I don't even know if they make them anymore. I'll pop a picture of them up there. But they used to do the same thing. They were these like health and wellness drinks, and they were like promoted in such a way where they were like supposed to do certain things. Like there was the sleep one, which I think just had melatonin in it, but there was like one for sex, there was one for calm, and it's just like, wait, what do you think that's going to do with me? At least you were ingesting something whenever it came to that, but this is just perfume. I'm sure she has something going on there that has something to do with like pheromones. Pheromones. Everyone's favorite buzzword is pheromones. I just also like, I feel like because I grew up in the 90s and I watched all the cartoons that came out in that era, we talked about pheromones all the time. Like pheromones was like, someone's gonna fall in love with you because you're fucking pheromones. Maybe I have bad pheromones because I don't think mine are working. So I don't know. Maybe Shirley has a point. Maybe I should be just putting my body into pheromones. But like when we talk about pheromones, like what does that even mean? I mean, I could Google it and you probably will leave a comment and I probably won't read the comment and I probably won't Google it. So I'm just back in the place where I started and I just don't understand what Charlotte was like thinking when she was doing this. They look so gaudy and like honestly par for the course when it comes to one Charlatan Tilbury. I feel like she thought what she thought she was going for was like apothecary, alchemist, and what we actually got was something that looks like it could be sold in the grocery store. I wouldn't pay more than $10 for this. Actually, I wouldn't pay for these at all. But like, I mean, Godspeed, God, you know, do whatever you want. Like if you want to support Charlotte Tilbury's weird approach to fragrance, you can do that. And while I have been dabbling in fragrances recently, Charlotte is certainly not getting my money. No. I just feel like the tea is the only people who will probably say nice things about this are the people who get it in PR. And that's not even to say it is because they got it in PR. It's just because they're the only people who are going to smell them because no one else is going to buy them. That's exactly what I think is going to happen with this release. Someone's going to have to do some like really hard convincing. I don't even know what you would have to do to get me to buy one of these Charlotte Tilbury fragrances. I just know it's a bad idea. Another bad idea is me drinking this pre-mixed blood orange Cosmo out of a wine glass on an empty stomach. So we'll see where this critical sass takes us, okay? Hi, I'm Tom. Subscribe. YSL is releasing an other Candy Glow Tinted Butter Balm. $40. A smooth, buttery lip balm providing soft shine and a sheer flush of color, infused with shea butter and maracuja oil for smooth, hydrated lips. Delivers fast-acting moisture for smoother-looking lips while pH-adjusting pigments. How many candy things are we gonna get from you, YSL? It's enough slices.
It's enough slices!
I've seen so many lip products from you in similar packaging. This is a fun, cute little pink rose gold situation, which I adore. I don't know if you can tell, but I like the color pink. I'm kind of a bitch. Mirage, we stand. YSL, why you selling me this? Can't all land, folks. I wouldn't buy this. To follow up, I think what was been happening with me, like choking on lip product recently, I don't think it's an allergy thing. I think what's happening is I'm slathering so much lip product on and then I'm taking a drink. And so I'm just like swallowing it. But if I'm not doing that actively, then the lip products don't bother me. But I think that's what it's been. Because if I drink out of a straw, I don't have that issue. But if I drink out of the lip of a glass, anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm 5 years old. I don't know what YSL is doing. Apparently they are like, all we have right now is lip products. I guess they released bronzers not that long ago. I'm giving them a little bit of shit, but like I just feel like a lip product, a lip product, a lip product, a lip product, another lip product, so many lip products, candy glaze, candy gloss, candy oil, candy thing, candy. I'm craving for you. I'm missing you like candy. Global pop sensation hautemess coming at your speakers. Summer of 2001. We have a shade expansion. I love a shade expansion. Danessa Myricks is adding to, oh, I lied. What are these? I thought it was a blush extension. It's not. These are the Yummy Skin Lowlighters, a light reflecting tinted balm to powder formula that blurs and gives a soft focus glow without amplifying texture. So it's a highlighter. Why are we calling it a lowlighter? What do you mean? So these are highlighters, I guess. For a healthy glow, apply Yummy Skin Lowlighter to high points of the face. It's a fucking highlighter primer. I hate the sales pitch. Like, I don't think this is a good sales pitch. I do this with some of my highlighters where like it's like kind of like I put it down before all of my other face products to make it more glowy. Any kind of cream highlighter I'll do it with. I won't do it with like a powder, but like some of my cream highlighter, I do it with the Auric Glow Lust. I do it with like the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. I do it with like my Ritual Defee highlighters. Like it's something that I do. I don't think we need a specific product design to do this because you could probably do this with things that you already have in your makeup collection. Like Danessa's really trying to sell us a fantasy. It's like, you've never thought of lowlighter. And I don't like that we're calling that because the whole point of it is still to highlight your face. And it's just kind of to make other things a little more glowy than they actually are whenever you would put them on in any other scenario. I think my problem with it is like you're selling it as a new thing. And then you're calling it like the lowlighter. I don't think it's a bad release, but I don't understand. Like, I don't like the marketing of this at all. And if you have a cream highlighter that has a tint to it, you can do this already. You don't need to buy it from Danessa Myricks. I have been experimenting more with the formula. I'm trying the primer version of this out. And it's like, it's a formula that I'm finding has certain use case scenarios, but like is not something that I would probably want to use more than one layer of on my face. So you're kind of missing me. I could come up with a song for like, all the words that come out because I was like, Diana Ross, missing you. Ooh, hello? Ooh, I'm missing you. You better listen to it right now. Go pause this video. Go listen to Missing You by Diana Ross. Hi, gay people. As you age, do you ever find yourself becoming like the old and gay? Because I find myself doing that sometimes. I'm like, here, go, you whippersnappers need to go listen to Diana Ross Missing You, which is an incredible song. But the bridge of it is so good. It goes off. Sometimes I wonder, I didn't understand just where you were trying to go. Only you knew the plan. You have to go listen to it. You have to tell me what you thought about it in the comments. It's like homework. I need you to do. And then I need you to finish this video. I need a sip before we talk about this. Everyone, sip gang. Tell me what you're drinking. Drink water. Don't be like me. It's not good. This isn't good. Melt Makeup released a Smoke Session 2, which is this purple palette. Someone call HR because I think it's time for us to fire melt. How is this where we're at with the status of this brand in particular? Sometimes I feel like I come off harsher to some brands than I do others, which is like probably truthful. Like I definitely have my biases. I can't do this bias free. There are definitely brands that I like more than others. The reason I'm harsher on Melt is because I used to have like an appreciation for Melt, and they have done everything in their power to ruin their reputation in my mind in the last 2 to 3 years. I think the last thing that Melt released that like made a lot of sense to me was their cream blushes, and like everything since then has just been like perplexing to me, and this perplexes me. I get it, purple being like a different color of smoke, but it's so straightforward, a monochrome purple palette. There's like one dirty mauvey brown kind of shade in there, but everything else is a purple. I can tell just from this photo, they've done nothing to try to improve on their shimmer formula at all, which is like one consistent thing that I hear about them all the time is people do not like their shimmer shades. They're so thick of a consistency. It's not even like a pretty, it's not even like an impactful shimmer. And like listen, satins have their time and place. And while I'm not someone who like always loves a satin, I use them sometimes and they can be really impactful. I feel like Melt's whole thing this whole time has been like high impact, in your face color stories, well thought out, curated color stories. And they keep giving us garbage. Like both of those Nightmare Before Christmas palettes were like, what are you doing, baby? Because like this isn't it. Like you need to go back to the drawing board. And then this to be the next release is just like purple. And also it's not even like an interesting purple color story. And there are people who have done color stories that are purple better. And I'm about to use a brand I'm affiliated with, but it's not because I'm affiliated with them, because they collaborated. So Bellabeautébar and D'Angelo Nicole released a purple palette earlier this was either early this year or late last year. And it's gorgeous, and there's a bunch of textures in there, and it feels like there was a lot of thought put into it by both the brand and Deandra, which is like pretty cool. And not only that, like, whenever it comes to these like monochromatic things, I just think indie brands just do it better across the board, especially if you're looking for high impact, colorful mattes. That's not my gig, but that's where I would go if I was gonna like look for that. I'm not going to Melt. And I know that Melt is probably like technically an indie brand, but they're carried at Sephora now. Are they? Because I feel like they're always going on sale at Sephora. And typically, I just say this from my working knowledge of having worked at Sephora at one point in my life, when things get marked down like that all the time, it means they're probably on their way out. It's like, that's where discontinued product goes. But like, you know, Sephora used to carry Surratt, and it got like marked down, like everything was like $5 there for a while. It was bananas. You could get some Surratt for really cheap whenever they were like, Surratt was leaving Sephora. Now, there are many reasons brands decide to leave Sephora. It's expensive to stock your stuff in a Sephora store, to be involved with Sephora. Sephora has certain expectations about how much stuff you need to release every year. And what I think we're seeing from Melt is the struggle to keep up with the demands of like being in Sephora. I feel like if we were a consumer society that was okay with slower releases, I think Melt probably could do a lot of great things, but I think that they've failed to innovate for a long time because there's pressure for them always to be releasing something. And I think a lot of the stuff that they release is like a quarter baked, maybe half baked. And this feels a quarter baked at most to me. And I just like, I wouldn't buy this. So, you know, we're going to give you your pink slip. Okay. We're going to head down to the principal's office and just, you know, we're going to have a conversation. Armani Beauty is releasing the Luminous Silk Sunlit Creamy Bronzing Powder, an ultra creamy bronzing powder that creates an instant Mediterranean glow that will make you look like you're just back from the Italian coast all year long. It's smooth powder sorry, I feel like I need to unpack that. It's like a Mediterranean glow. But like, what do you mean by that? And why were you so specific? When I hear Mediterranean glow, I have a feeling that these bronzers will be like good for people with olive skin tones, but probably not good for me. And I don't think that's a problem. There's certainly a place in the market for olive bronzers, but like, why would they like market it like that? Now, of course, this is what Trend Mood wrote, but I assume that the copy that Trend Mood uses a lot of the time is from the brands directly. I'm assuming that this was something that like was like, use this as a talking point, Mediterranean glow. And I just feel like that's like strange. Like, I just feel like that was a strange way to say, like, bronzing, glowing. Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's like so specific to me. I don't know. Anyway, these look like beautiful baked bronzers. Here's the thing. How many bronzers do any of us need? Probably only one. Someone's going to come into my comment section and be like, but what about different undertones, different textures, but yeah, okay. But like, for me, I use the same bronzer most of the time, and I have other ones for fun, but for the most part, I'm using that one bronzer all the time. Right now, my current obsession is the Gucci bronzer in the shade 1, and I love it. I really do. I pull it out all the time. It works for cool tone looks. It works for warm tone looks. It just looks really good on my skin. I freaking love it. I have other bronzers with different textures, different levels of glow, different levels of matteness, and yet that is the bronzer I typically reach for. I have a bunch of questions for you if you're considering purchasing this. 1, how many bronzers do you currently have? 2, does this fill a place that's missing in your collection when it comes to bronzer? If yes, then maybe this could be a good buy for you. But then my third question for you is, when was the last time you panned a bronzer? And now, I know that not everyone operates through the makeup space going like, well, I would like to use up completely all of the things I buy. But I think something we should keep in mind as consumers is like, maybe that is like an approach we should consider for something like bronzer, which I feel like it's like the variety is not really the spice of life when it comes to bronzer. Like foundations, I feel like that's a place where you probably want some room for like different times or different levels of coverage. Formulas that are better for you in the summertime, formulas better for you in the wintertime when you're a little bit drier. But like bronzer's bronzer, you know, it's just like, I don't know. And I feel like for a long time, even me, I just had one bronzer. Like, and that was the only bronzer I would use. Before I started really doing this, before I had access to a lot of the stuff that I do now, I would just use like the one bronzer all the time. And guess what? I never even hit pan on that bronzer. And that was like, I had that bronzer for like 6 years. So I'm just saying something to consider, just like something to think about. Maybe you don't need it. It's pretty. I don't need another bronzer. I already have 5 bronzers. I feel like I've hit the maximum amount of bronzers that I would need for different formula types and different, I don't know, I just feel like I'm there. Where is Rita Ora? So Rita Ora is 2 months too late, as she always is. She said, but I also have a hair care line. Who is your team, Rita Ora? Who's your team? They are out to freaking get ya. Let me read the caption before I get too far into this, but I have a lot of thoughts. Rita Ora and Anna Leahy are releasing a brand called TYPEBEA. The caption is 2 women passionate about changing the way you feel about your hair growth, no matter your hair type. Well, that wasn't much information. I don't feel like I've walked away knowing more than I did before I read that. I don't know who the co-founder is, and maybe they're a hair person. But if they're a hair person and they want to start a brand, I think picking Rita Ora as someone to start a brand with is like a crazy choice. Some of you might be like, I don't even know who Rita Ora is. And I'm so happy for you. I wish I didn't know who Rita Ora is. And you're probably gonna be like, is she like problematic? I don't want to get into that here. I'm sure there are many Reddit threads and other YouTube videos about like the weird way she plays with race and all of that. I'm not talking about that here. You can go do your own research. I just want to talk about the greater pop culture ramifications of one Rita Ora. Rita Ora is always 5 steps behind, much like BB Rexa. I feel like she's one of those people who thinks that she's more famous than she is, or would like to have more recognition than she gets in the stratosphere as a pop singer. And I just don't understand. And I know that brands take a long time for all of this stuff to come out. Once you saw Beyonce launch Sacred, I just feel like, this just looks so bad. It just feels like, and Rita Ora was late to the game yet again. She came in and did it worse. And I'm not saying, I can't speak to the quality of the products that Rita Ora is about to be releasing or has released or whatever. And I don't know her relationship to hair. Maybe there's something to it that's like beyond what I know now after reading the trend mood description of what we might get. But it's just like Rita Ora is always late to the game. The only thing that Rita Ora has on the rest of us is that, and I don't know if she even still is, but she is or it was at one point in a throuple with Taika Waititi. I don't know if you've seen him. I'm not in a throuple with Taika Waititi. I'd like to be. Call me. That's the one thing that she has up on us. But like, she's always late to the game. And people are just like, who is she? Why is she famous? She's just kind of like always in the background. However, I will say, to Rita Ora's credit, she wrote us, I don't know if she wrote it. I don't want to discredit her if she did, because women in the music industry get bullied all of the time for not writing their own songs. I don't care if these women write their own songs. I just want to beg her. She has a song called Only Want You that made me cry on the Sephora sales floor as an employee. I had to like excuse myself because I was like, excuse me? It's such a great song. Stream Only Want You by Rita Ora, and then don't buy this hair product. Serena Williams released a new beauty brand called WYN Beauty. I hope it's WYN and not WYN. A lot of products got released. In fact, Andromeda recently bought something from brand, and they're like, oh, I just bought the WYN whatever. And I was like, what's that? Like, I had no idea. And so then I had to be informed about this brand. We'll talk about my feelings about it later. Let's talk about what's in the collection right now. So the Word of Mouth Max Comfort Matte Lipstick. There are 10 shades. The most versatile pigment multifunction lip and chic colored 8 shades. Say Everything Max Intensity Featherweight Lipstick, 10 shades. Big Vision Lengthening and Defining Tubing Mascara. No Words Needed Lip Serum. Taking Shape Brow Shading Pencil. That only comes in 3 shades. The Guideline Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. Nothing to See Here Matte Creamy Concealer. Guideline Longwear Eye Pencil. And Featuring You, a Hydrating Skin Enhancing Tint. That comes in 36 shades, and that's $29. So this is very much mid-range, thinking the pricing of REM Beauty from Ariana Grande. I would have to do some research on this. I'm curious what gap in the market she thinks she's filling. Like I'm not trying to say that to be rude. Like I was pretty rude to Rita Ora, but I have a lot of respect for Serena Williams. Not only because she was like incredibly talented and worked incredibly hard to be the top of the women's tennis league for like an incredible amount of time. Like what she did, like we cannot dismiss how talented and dedicated one Serena Williams was to the craft of tennis. But growing up, I was very into tennis, so I'm familiar with her career for up to a certain point. But like, I took tennis lessons when I was a child, and I wanted to be, well, I wanted to be like Maria Sharapova, because of course I did, because I was like, I want to be white, blonde, and beautiful, and maybe a little bit Russian. As I've gotten older, I was like, oh my God, why was I dismissing Serena Williams? Anyway, you know what it is. In turn, you know, a lot of things going on that I feel like I've done a lot of work to outgrow. You know, she's incredibly smart, and she always seems to know what she's doing and where she's putting things, like where she's putting her money. So I'm just curious to see and know what she's like. What I do love is that the packaging is like the color of like a fresh tennis ball. Ooh, oh God, if she could make it smell like that too, it'd be like, and if you opened up the products and they popped like they did, like it did. Sorry, I have a vision. I have a dream. I have a dream that this is exactly what opening and experiencing one of these products is like. I just want it to smell like tennis balls, fresh tennis balls, fresh tennis balls. So I want it to smell like fresh tennis balls. And I want it to pop like it when you're opening a fresh can of balls. I don't know that that's how we would say that. I took tennis lessons for like a decade, like private tennis lessons, privilege, whatever. I was pretty good. Okay. So like, this is my fantasy. The sound of a tennis racket meeting a tennis ball, that noise is like one of the most satisfying sounds to me. That's like, and maybe it was ASMR to me before I knew what ASMR was, but like part of playing tennis for me, the part of the joy it brought me was like hearing that sound. You know, I loved that. I'm always open to more Black-owned beauty brands being able to provide things that other brands are not currently providing. I think it's a good price point. For me, it's like out of the price point that I like shop. Like I typically like buy prestige and luxury things, but like I'm not interested in it, but it's like something in it would have to really blow me away for me to like think about it. I'll be curious to like watch some reviews on the brand, but I don't think I'll be buying it. Are you guys on the side of TikTok where we think Degas is Jack the Ripper? Because like that is where I'm at on TikTok, and I'm enthralled, living for that. Don't take TikTok away from me before we get to the bottom of this. And I would say that because Degas was, when I took an art history class, I wasn't like an art major or anything, but I was like, I had to take it for an art credit. And Degas was the only artist that I remember thinking, wow, I really like his work. If I resonate with Jack the Ripper's art, what does that mean? Okay, so Dolce & Gabbana is diving back into makeup. I think we've already seen some products from them like the last year or so, like highlighters. They have the Blueberry Nutri-Tint, a tint for 24 hours of hydration and healthy skin glow with sheer buildable coverage and blurring effect. Okay, that comes in 30 shades. What's blueberries have to do with that? Infused with blueberry to enhance radiance. Okay. Mint oil lip plumper. That's my line. Eyeliner. An Everkiss liquid lip. $43. Jesus Christ. I guess, where are we headed? Dolce, Gabbana, Fendi, and whatever Fergie said after that. Hit it, Fergie. All the time trying to can't beat you. I feel like a lot of product has been released in this kind of packaging. Now, I'm not saying this is a complete ripoff, but like Urban Decay just released something in packaging like this. Lisa Eldridge just released a skin tint, something like this. And I guess because they're all skin tints, I guess, well, the Urban Decay one is decidedly not a skin tint. But what market research was done recently that they were like, everyone wants their complexion product to be packaged just like this. I know. This doesn't appeal to me, even as like a luxury brand, like kind of like dabbling its toes into the makeup world. I feel like they lost me. They never had me. Whatever happened to Joss Stone? What the actual fuck? Okay, I thought we were done with this. I'm not excited to see this again in my feed at all. FRECK? What the FRECK? You know, like, so they reformulated their Cheekslime. Rose. Lip and cheek tint, a super smooth liquid cream blush with high impact pigments that blends seamlessly and dries down into natural flush of color on any skin tone. This new and improved formula with enhanced blendability dries down beautifully for a natural skin finish. So I didn't try the first one. I never watched a review on it. Something that's called Cheekslime, to me, feels like it's being marketed to a demographic that is not me, which is fine. That's certainly allowed to exist. I think calling something slime is gross. I don't want any of my cosmetic products to be described as a slime. That doesn't sound like a texture. that I want anywhere near this. I don't want it on the tip of my finger. No. I don't want anything. Nothing slime. No jelly. Souffle I'm barely okay with. It's just that the product works really well for me. I don't even like the texture of that, okay? But I like that product. And who's to say I wouldn't like the Cheekslime? But FRECK, I'm not giving you a cent. Liquid blush is like not like my favorite category of blush. Like it's not my favorite every method. You know what? I was just about to complain that you had to squirt it out on the palette or the back of your hand to apply your face. And actually, I would prefer if I was doing a liquid blush, it'd be that or a doe foot applicator. At least it's not a sponge. But Cheekslime, ew. It's like makeup bingo. I'd be like, I already have this. It's actually, oh, what I'm wearing on my eyes. So bellabeautébar, hey girl. They're about to release their Secret Garden Magnetic 25 pan eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette, and it's going to launch April 22nd, I believe is the actual date. This is an interesting point in my career of critical sass. I've not had the opportunity to be like, I already have this, but it's in critical sass. I literally am wearing it as we speak. But I'll just talk about it as if I didn't have it. Let's try that. First and foremost, there are 25 eyeshadows. That's too many for me. An eyeshadow palette with 25 eyeshadows in it is too many for me. And what I will say, it is a pretty color story. Even since my channel has been going for the past 3 years, there have been so many eyeshadow palettes that have had this color story that have come into my life, left my life, that I have talked about and praised for the color story. I'm thinking of the Flower Punk palette from Kaleidos, the Hella palette from Odin's Eye, which I had for a bit. It kind of gives the same energy as the Glaminatrix Nocturnal. It's a little bit different. It's a little less stinky, you know, like it has a little bit of that yuck in it than the Glaminatrix palette did. But like, it's in the oeuvre. I don't know. I heard someone say oeuvre the other day and I said, oeuvre. I need to work that back into my speaking. I need to get it into the oeuvre. Bad French. Did someone call out my stuff? Because they're here. I do like this color story. I'm not into color as much as I used to, but I was really excited about getting this palette because there's a line of neutrals on the top, and the palette that I got from them last was the basic witch palette, which had like no neutral shades in it. So I was delighted to like try their formula in neutrals. We'll save how I feel about those neutral eyeshadows for another time. If I was just a consumer, if I was not affiliated with the brand and the brand did not send this to me, this would absolutely not be something I bought. It would be something I would look at and be like, that's pretty, but I wouldn't buy it. And you have to make the conscious decision yourself whenever you're looking at this palette. Like, do you want 25 new eyeshadows to come in? Are these all colors that you're going to use? Is this a color story that speaks to you? If it is a color story that speaks to you, do you have one of the palettes that I mentioned or a palette that has a similar color story to what I mentioned? Because if you do, maybe you don't need this. And like, I understand people like always want to try different formulas and such. There are some cool formulas in here, but you just have to be like considerate whenever you're thinking about buying something like this. Because if I had 5 eyeshadow palettes, this color story, I wouldn't use any of them that much. And because I would either be rotating through them whenever I was inspired to do a look with these kinds of colors, or I would just not use any of them because they're like a little more colorful than my current preferences are. But what I will say, unlike the palette that I already have, unlike the Basic Witch, these are magnetic, which I think makes this more useful in a sense where even though it is a bigger palette, you can mess these around, use them in custom palettes. So I hope that this gets a lot of good feedback, the magnetic, because I think that they should do that for every palette because their formulas would be formulas that I would want to throw in custom palettes or not take the whole palette if I was traveling and just take a couple of the shades that I know that I would really, really like to use. So I would love to see that going forward when it comes to this brand specifically. Beautiful release. Wouldn't have bought it. It is currently in my life. So that's a privilege that I got, you know, just from doing this. Throwing that out there, I just want to be honest with you, is like, I probably wouldn't have bought this, but not because I don't think it's good. Just, I wouldn't have bought it because of the reasons I already stated. Also, if you decide to buy the palette, I do have a promo code. It's hautemess Tom. It would save you 10%. So there's that. Don't feel pressured to use my promo code. I'm just letting you know if you want to save a little bit of money. God, that's so influencer of me. That's like, it feels yucky to say that. I don't know why it feels yucky to say that, but it does. Natasha Denona released the Hybrid Generation Highlighter or Skincare Infused Glow Beautifier. Shut up. Available in 4 shades. light, medium, dark, deep. This creamy to the touch, lightweight and sheer bouncy powder feels weightless and provides a supernatural radiant finish. I think this looks pretty. I have not heard any like dedicated review. So sometimes whenever I know I'm going to film a critical sass and I'm going to talk about a product after it's been released, my friends on Instagram might talk about it, my friends on YouTube might talk about it, and I'll just try to like avoid it unless I know for sure I wouldn't buy the thing. And this is not something I wouldn't not buy, so I would buy it maybe. Like not really, I don't know if I would buy this. I probably won't buy it, but I was just like, I want to talk about it first. So the packaging looks pretty luxe. And I got word, I did message my friend Ananda, Medium Olive on Instagram. I was like, how does it feel in the hands though? And she said, it feels luxe. Interesting. I don't know why you would tell me that, because you know how that would make me feel. And then I did see on Kaki's story, she described it as like kind of luxe in the hand. And then she just started describing the texture. And then I was like, now I'm curious. Interest peaked. So for those of you who have like not really been paying attention, Natasha Denona has been like slowly turning into a clean brand. Whatever they say clean, I'm not here to define clean for you, but it's like it's looking like they're using less preservatives. And that's why I heard that this kind of has a smell. I don't know like a smell that it's gone off, but I have a feeling that it smells like that, probably due to the fact that it has less preservatives in it. And it may be if it didn't have that smell in it, it would not smell so great. It wouldn't be a neutral smell. It would be like this smells like, you know, I'm not sure what it smells like, but I heard the texture is wild. And then that's what got me. Like, if I hadn't heard that, like, if I wouldn't be like, do I want to try that? And now I'm like, kind of like, no, I want to try that. Oh, I guess I'm also affiliated with Natasha Denona. I have a promo code with them, but like they don't send me PR or anything. I have like no relationship with them other than I have a code with them. So maybe I'll use my code and I'll pick this up because I'm curious. I'm curious, Natasha. And I feel like the highlighters that I've tried recently have like not been my thing. I'm not like super into highlighter, but like this being a weird formula has me I'm a little bit interested. I want to see how glowy it is. I've also heard the Fenty highlighters finally came out and I've heard they're like much highlighter-y than they were like selling them as. So now I'm kind of just like curious where we at with highlighter. I have the Rare Beauty highlighter, but like I didn't buy that either. It was Ananda sent it to me. If all else fails, if I wait long enough and Ananda doesn't like it, it might find its way to me. I can go to the store and touch it because I think that's all I really want to do. I just want to touch it. Boop.
Gotcha.
Byredo released the Mineralscapes palette. I long for it. So this is actually, I'm on an eyeshadow no buy, but I did a video recently where I talked about my eyeshadow no buy and how my eyeshadow no buy wouldn't be the same as you doing an eyeshadow no buy. Check that out for more context if you'd like to see and hear more. I didn't even like consider the big Byredo palette as something that would touch me in such a way where it would make me go, what is that? I want to put that on my face. You know, like it's like giving that energy. Like I want to put that. Oh, on my face. Oh, you know, like I want to experience. I want to like dive in the cold waters of this palette. Ooh, it's so pretty. Here's what got me. So the past couple big palettes that Byredo has released have all been like red, warm, rusty, which is not my go-to. I wouldn't need a big palette. Well, I don't need any eyeshadow. I need an eyeshadow like I need 2 holes through my head. I do need one. Lobotomy. I was not expecting them to come out with this, which looks like it has beautiful textures in it. The colors aren't warm. They're like neutral and cool leaning. It's so pretty. There's some greens in there. There's some yellows in there. There's some blues in there. And like blue's not my favorite, but those blues are look pretty. The reason I'm bummed is because this is actually the first eyeshadow palette I would put on my wish list. And I think by the time next year would come, I would still want it. Like I would probably buy it. Thing is, these palettes are always limited edition and I might not get the opportunity to buy it next year, which is like grand scheme thing. Not a big deal. I don't need this eyeshadow palette. I'm in a weird place with eyeshadow palettes right now. I don't use eyeshadow palettes. It's not my favorite category of makeup. I have a bunch of eyeshadow palettes right now in my makeup collection that I've got it down. I've decluttered it down. And still there are eyeshadow palettes that I have in my makeup collection that I just have not touched since last year. For me to be lusting over an eyeshadow palette, it kind of makes me feel like, well, I'm not even using the eyeshadows I already have. The reviewer in me, the influencer in me makes me go, you've never tried Byredo eyeshadows, so this would be like the perfect one to dip your toes in. I have been playing with the idea of buying a Byredo palette for like I don't know, since my no-buy in my budget year. No, it was like my budget year. I wasn't really interested in any of their palettes, their 5 PM palettes, until my friend Brittany got into them. And I also saw like some other creators like swatch them, which I had not seen before. And I was like, those look a lot different swatch than they do in Byredo's marketing, which is like Byredo's fault. It is like something I've had a little bit of a taste for, a little bit of a craving, constant craving for a Byredo palette. So this one came out and I was like, that really sings to me. And it's a bit of a bummer. But I'm going to stick to my no-buy. I have thought about breaking it. I've said this before, and I think it's always important context. It's not out of the realm of possibility that I could find myself with it this year if a friend gifts it to me, or if the brand should somehow find me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm not going out of my way to try to get Byredo PR, by the way. I'm just saying, like, crazier things have happened. But I'm not also, like, pining for that either. Like, I really just want to buy it because I think I would have a good time. It would make me, like, I'd be excited to play with the textures of it. I think I would, like, I think I would have a hoot and a half with it. So I'm very sad that I can't buy it right now, but I'm going to stick to my no-buy. This is where I just need to put it into practice. I just need to like hold strong, put it on my wish list, and just like hope I can buy it next year. Hopefully early next year, if it's still in stock, I will be able to like fulfill my wish. But as it stands right now, I will not be touching this palette. That makes me really sad. Don't cry out loud. Diana DeGarmo sang that on season 3 of American Idol. And that's the only reason I know that song. This popped off, mama. I saw so many people sharing this and being like, ooh, pretty. It's from Color Rose, and it's their Water Ripple series, and they released 2 different eyeshadow palettes, some ombre blushes, and some highlighters. And here's what happened. We all saw that packaging and went, oh, I've never seen such beautiful packaging before. Oh. Well, then the formula has to be so good. I've never seen eyeshadow in such beautiful packaging. I've never seen such a thing before. I saw them and I said, that's interesting eyeshadow packaging. But you know what I also saw? Is that it was magnetic. It's like a magnetic top, like the Inglot system. Do y'all remember Inglot? This is the system that Inglot did. You could do custom colors in Inglot, and then it had this kind of top. All I know is that the Inglot girlies, the people who used Inglot, hated this packaging as a consumer. As a makeup artist, not so sure about that. But as a consumer, if you're putting in your drawer, all it will take is just like one thing to shift those magnets off, and then your eyeshadows are just exposed to all the other things in there. So not like, you know, great, beautiful packaging. Not great. And obviously it has the texture. Inglots did not have like this watery texture on it. That's just their choice. That's what they chose to do. That's how this brand chose to use that system. But I don't think I would like to having that in my drawer. Also, let's remove the beautiful packaging from the top. And if I look at those eyeshadows, even in the marketing promos, I'm like not inspired by them. So that's me, you know, that's subjective. But my suspicions were confirmed when my friend Ivy, who's also known as Face Forward on YouTube, I will put her channel down below, released a video recently, and she like briefly talked about these, and she said they were really underwhelming. My assumption is a lot of Asian, I'm not going to try to like generalize, but a lot of the Asian beauty eyeshadows I have tried have not held up well on my oily eyelids, and that just might be like a difference in like the general skin type of people who are in that market, because for me my eyelids are oily, and like it just like eats that kind of eyeshadow. It eats mattes, it eats shimmers, it just like sucks it right up and it just disappears from my eye. So I was like, this is not something I would buy for myself. This is one of those reminders to you, is like, take a second as a packaging snob, and I am one. We shouldn't be buying makeup for the packaging explicitly. We shouldn't buy makeup for the packaging. We should want to use what's inside of it. Even if you're not using it a lot, you should want what's inside, and the hope should be that what's inside is going to perform its best. And it's going to do really great things for you. It's going to be easy to use. It's going to be an ABC thing. We cannot get this carried away with packaging again, okay? I'm just looking at beauty community. It's a call in. Everyone gather around, put your hands in, and we're going to just scream. Ah! NARS reformulated their blushes. And guess what? You know what's so funny is that they did away with the one shade I wanted to try for so many years. It might still be like around. I might still be able to find it. I'm not in a hurry to find it. It's this shade Sin. It's such a pretty shade of blush. I watched my one coworker, Mallory. She sold it to like everyone. It looked so good on everyone too. There are some pretty shades in here. I don't know if some of them are new. Like the shade Behave looks stunning. I'm not going to buy any of these. I just think that's noteworthy. It's been a cult classic formula for a while. So for it to get reformulated, it's like, ooh, I'll have to look into it just because I'm curious. I'm wondering what NARS reformulated for, if it was a performance thing or if it's just like someone's coming at them for like a quote unquote bad ingredient being in things. I think that's a lot of what's happening behind the scenes, is there's being a lot of pushback from very few, very loud people being like, you can't use that. It's interesting what's going on. It's just like a lot of stuff's reformulating and it's like, But why are we doing that? Formulas that have been around forever and ever. Oh, Carolina. My nemesis. Carolina Herrera. Carolina has launched 2 new gorgeous lipstick cases and 2 weightless soft focus matte lipstick shades. And guess what? You can put them on your bracelet. You can put them on your bracelet. Carolina. I'll come to you.
Stop it!
Thank you. Jackie Aina launched a fragrance brand, and I think there is a sampler pack. That is exciting. I'm excited to see what she's done. Maybe the Forever Mood candles were coming into the stores as I was leaving Sephora, because I feel like I remember like them kind of being around, but I don't really remember what they smelled like. If I had to be mean to Charlotte Tilbury, I'm gonna be a little mean to Jackie. Jackie, don't block me. I'm just trying to do my job. You would do it too for $1, and you have. So there are 4 scents. There's You Remind Me, and Yay, I Am Her, and Hard to Get. These aren't far from the packaging that Charlotte Tilbury released. It's not exactly the same. I'm not trying to say like they're exactly the same, but like they're color coded. They have pointy tops. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like, why is this the route we're going? Fragrance brands. Hi, listen to me. Someone who just got into fragrance. I have some opinions. Just make beautiful glass fragrance bottles. I don't need them to be colorful. I don't need you to be trying that hard. Classic is going to feel better. Now, I understand you might be selling to a different market, but why not sell to me? I'm very important. But like even Bond number 9, I don't really like, their bottles are like star shaped, and it's like, why all this? And then it's like the logos on them are like kind of gaudy. We need to make fragrance less gaudy. But MFK, I like their bottles. Clean Reserve. I like your bottles too. Not too much. Replica's fine. There's like a little too many words. I don't need that many words. Less words. Put what's called. And then your logo. One time. Only one time, not 7, not all the way around, just one time. Fragrance brands are so unclassy. Okay. This is my last one I'm going to linger on, and then we'll do a lightning round with some things that I would just like to say like a few words on. Rare Beauty launched some blush/highlighters, so like blush lighters sort of things, and unexpectedly smooth and incredibly weightless. This airy blush goes on seamlessly for a pinch perfect flush that seems to radiate from within. It comes in 6 shades, $26 each. So first things first, none of these shades are in shades that I'm interested in. Why did we put a formula similar to the highlighter that was notorious for breaking and shipping? Why did we put a formula similar to that in that same packaging, having like not learned our lesson? I know that product development takes a long time. I hear ya. I'm fairly certain that those Rare Beauty highlighters came out at the beginning of 2023, and we are now a quarter of the way through 2024. And so it feels like that should have been long enough for them to have already known that those highlighters were busting in the packaging. It's the fragile formula. It's whatever they were doing, it needed to be changed. And yet I have seen people get these blushes and they have been busted. Not everyone, like I have an unbroken highlighter, but what I would suggest to you, if you are buying this, buy it in store, check it before you ring out at the register. Make sure it's not busted. Get one of the employees to make sure they know you're not doing anything wrong. Be like, can we open this just to make sure it's not busted? That kind of like really bugs me. Why would we do that? It's like, we're all smart enough to know that maybe we should have done that. My final thought on these blushes is I don't want to look like grease. Now, I love a glowy cheek, so I feel like some of you are going to be like, look at your face. It looks like people have like the meat sweats or like they ate something weird and then maybe they have a little bit of food poisoning, and like that's not the skin that I'm trying to have. And I feel like that's been like what I've been seeing these blushes kind of looking like on people. People have been enjoying it, and like they're allowed to be wrong. I'm just not going to be one of those people. I went and buy this blush, and the happenstance of me having the highlighter is because a friend sent it to me, and I just kept it because it's the only powder highlighter that I own right now that is not discontinued and you can buy. It's always worthwhile to have some of that in your collection, but like I still love those old highlighters and I still use them. It's one of those things where it's just like, I need to be current, I need to be hip, I need to know what highlighter is like right now. That's kind of how I'm feeling about those Natasha Denona ones. But like, I don't want this blush. Okay, let me get my phone and I'm going to just scroll through some things. I'll pop up here and I'll just tell you how I feel about them. One Size and Wicked. Ew, gross. Why? No, thank you. I don't want it. The brush looks like a broom. I think that's fun. Made by Mitchell bronzers. They look beautiful. There are a lot of options. Would try. The Rio Radiance SPFs. Probably smell good. Would try. Say concealer? Absolutely not. I would not really want to buy anything from that brand. Ew, yuck. The Rocks skincare line. Papatui. Born to Stand Out's Angel's Powder fragrance that's supposed to smell like cotton candy, nail polish, and fresh paint. No, thank you. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. That's my time. I appreciate you. If you happen to be new to my channel and you did not catch the vibe, well, honey, let me tell you. My name is Tom, and I like to talk about makeup critically. Whether I'm reviewing it or I'm talking about new makeup releases, these brands are not our friends. These brands need to earn our money. They shouldn't just get it. We need to think about the things that we're buying, and that's what I try to do here. I try to teach you that. I try to keep myself in check, which I had to do a couple times in this video. So if that kind of content sounds good to you, where someone's probably gonna love on their makeup collection before buying a new thing, I'd love to have you subscribe. Why am I talking like this? Make sure you like this video. I appreciate any comments. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about any of these new makeup releases. Just to say before this video ends, this type of video cannot be done without the accounts like Trend Mood, Makeup on Your Radar, and Point Click Vibes. I have those all linked down below. Follow them on Instagram. What I do here would not happen if those people were not doing that work. All of this work is very important to make this kind of content happen. So we need to celebrate them. Check those out down below. You better do it and go like and save some of their posts, because that's a lot of work that they do and it goes unthanked, I think, most of the time. All that really happens in those comment sections is those people post something and then it's a bunch of people ripping on the product and not being like, thanks for this info. It's a thankless job that they do over there. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. They're both the same. You can join one or the other. Don't join both unless you're for some reason want to give me your money twice, but you shouldn't do that. You get the same thing on both. I do additional content over there, one additional video from me a month. There's no pressure to join my Patreon, no pressure to be a channel member. It's just a way to support me. It's not the only way to support me. It's not the best way to support me. Liking, commenting, and sharing my content is the absolute best way to do that. But thank you to all my current patrons and members. You are so fabulous. And that's gonna wrap up the video. Remember to follow your hope, and you'll find me. I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. Tits out. Don't take TikTok. Don't take TikTok. Garden Magnetic 25 pan eyeshadow pressed palette. I can't talk today.